Alright, students, let's go ahead and start the class now. People, after the chapter of place of supply, the next chapter which we are going to today is offenses and penalties. Everyone over here now, listen to me carefully. Offenses and penalties is a chapter. Offenses and penalties is a chapter which can be linked anywhere, everywhere. Means, sir, for going ahead and doing any offense in GST, you will see that most of the places, if you have not gone ahead and done anything as per the law or as per the act, you will see that there are small penalties which are there. Now, to run any law properly, there has to be clauses for penalties. Sir, what do you mean by that? If you would have gone ahead and seen, not going ahead and following the traffic law properly, they go ahead and charge you. Sir, not wearing helmet, this much penalty. Sir, riding on the footpath, this much penalty. Riding fast, this much penalty. Riding fast, this much penalty. So, you will see that every law has penalties. In that law, penalties, offenses, and the various penalties for the offenses, these provisions are there in every law. Why these offenses ke liye penalties are being imposed? Otherwise people will not be scared. If there is no penalty, just imagine you are going on the footpath, driving your bike and riding your bike and going, and you are caught. You will say, okay, sorry, next time onwards I will not do. You will be not scared only. Next time again they will catch, okay, sorry. So they are going ahead and telling, for every law to be implemented properly, there has to be penalties. And the same way in GST law also, they have gone ahead and made provisions for offenses and their various penalties. Offenses and penalties chapter starts with section number 122, which talks about various types of offenses and the penalties. Section number 123 is also talking about penalties. 124 also talks about penalty. Section number 125 comes, which talks about general disciplines, basically when penalty is to be imposed. Section no sorry, general penalty of 25,000. Section number 126 talks about those general discipline kind of thing. Section number 127 and 128 are small section. 129 and 130 will be learning in detail. Then we will have 131 is okay. Section number 132, which will be imprisonment related things, that sir you will be sent to jail. So we'll be learning about that also. Then we have 138 section, which is very important over here. So basically offenses and penalties starts from 122 till 138, but I consider this chapter as an A graded chapter because 4 to 6 marks definitely comes out of the chapter. They will somewhere or the other go ahead and ask you this chapter. You can consider A graded, but in 3 attempts, might be 1 attempt they don't go ahead and ask, but generally they go ahead and ask a 4 to 6 mark question. Let's go ahead and do the chapter of offenses and penalties now. Everyone in the chart of offenses and the various penalties. Everyone over here. There is section number 122. Everyone, section number 122, which we are going to learn. Section number 122 has 4 parts. Section number 122 1, 122 1A, section number 122 2, and section number 122 3. Everyone, listen to me very carefully. Section number 122 1, 2, 3. What is the difference? I will not talk about 1A now. I'll talk about 1A little later. I want to ask you, what is the difference between section number 122 1 ka penalty, 122 2 ka penalty, 122 3 ka penalty? See everyone, 122 1 talks about those circumstances when penalty shall be levied on a taxable person. Who is a taxable person, sir? A taxable person is a person who is might be registered or who is liable to be registered. A taxable person is a person who is liable to register or he is registered. Yes, sir, we got it. A registered person is also a taxable person. A person who is liable to be registered but have not taken registration is also a taxable person. Section number 122.1 talks about approximately 21 offences for which penalty can be levied on a taxable person. If you go in your textbook, everyone, section number 122 talks about 122.1 talks about 21 offences for which penalty can be levied. I have gone ahead and tried my best to shrink these 21 offences into here into a mnemonic which I will be telling you. Okay, sir. 122 1A little later. 122 2 goes ahead and talks about offences which circumstances for levy of penalty on registered person. So 122 2 is penalties only on a registered person. This is on a taxable person. A taxable person, when he takes registration, he is a registered person. So it is on registered person. So if you are liable to take registration but you have not taken registration, then you are a taxable person. You are liable to take registration and you took registration, then you are a registered person. So 122.2 talks about those people who are registered person on whom penalty can be levied. 122.3 talks about, see everyone, this was registered. 122.3 talks about penalty on any person. Sir, 3 talks about any person. What do you mean by any person? He can be a registered person, he can be an unregistered person, he can be any person. They are going in and telling 122.3 talks about those circumstances when penalty can be levied on any person. Okay, sir, done. Let's go ahead and start understanding 122 now. Everyone over here. Section number 120 talks about penalties for certain offences. People, listen to me very carefully. There is nothing much which I have to go ahead and explain. It is a chapter which you have to basically remember, saying this penalty, this offence done, this penalty, this offence done, this penalty. So I'll be little quick with the chapter. Okay, done, sir. Section number 122.1 talks about circumstances for levy of penalty on a taxable person. So, what are the various offences a taxable person can do, sir, for which a penalty can be levied on him? Everyone over here. Officer, see, I have gone ahead and made one mnemonic only for classroom purpose. This is the officer. Officer says, oh, I have got gastric. Oh, gastric. Now, whenever the officer has gastric, he will go ahead and impose a penalty on you. This was a chapter which I have seen that students ignore it. So, I've tried my best to go ahead and make it easy for you guys to remember. So whenever the officer says, oh, gastric, then Baba, he will impose a penalty. What is O gastric? I have gone ahead and made a mnemonic. O means officer related if you have gone ahead and done an offense. Sir, what is officer related offense? Officer came to a premises, you obstructed the officer or you prevented him from discharging his duties. His duties you are not letting him do. Officer came to your premises, you are telling, hey, go, I will not open the door. You are not letting him to come and do inspection. Officer related, if you have gone ahead and done an offense, always remember there will be a penalty which can be 10,000 or amount of tax involved, whichever is higher. Everyone listen to me very carefully. I want to go ahead and talk about one small paragraph in the textbook before we go ahead and start with offences and penalties in a proper manner. Everyone, section number 20 is there in the IGST Act. Section number 20 says that the provisions of CGST Act relating to all this till one section number 174 shall mutatis mutandis apply so far as may be in relation to integrated tax as they apply to central tax. Means what happened, CGST ka all provisions are copied in IGST. Okay, sir. Now, here they are going ahead and telling, provided that in case of TDS, the deductor shall deduct 2% from the payment made or credited to the supplier. TDS is how much? 2%. TCS will be not exceeding 2%, but as may be notified is only 1%. Provided that for the purpose of the value shall include Baba same as the CGST Act wala value. This is something important. One section number 20 is there in the IGST Act which told this thing. Provided also that in case where the penalty is leviable under CGST Act and the SGST Act or the UTGST Act, the penalty leviable under this Act shall be sum total of the penalties. Everyone over here, I am teaching you CGST Act now. I am teaching you section number 122 of the CGST Act, which says the penalty is 10,000 or the tax amount involved, whichever is higher. Can you tell me, everyone? Penalty is CGST Act mein they are telling 10,000 or the tax involved, whichever is higher. Same thing under SGST Act will be 10,000 or tax involved, whichever is higher. Now, if I go ahead and tell you IGST Act, can you tell me how much penalty will be levied under the IGST Act? Can you guys tell me how much penalty will be levied? It shall be a sum total. They have gone ahead and cleanly mentioned over here. It shall be sum total of the penalties. Sum total of the penalties means everyone. Sum total of the penalties means, sir, 20,000 rupees over here, or the CGST plus SGST total means basically here the IGST involved, whichever is higher. Sir, what do you mean by tax involved? See, I actually, if you read the law goes ahead and says 10,000 or the amount of tax evaded, or the amount of tax not deducted, or short deducted, deducted not paid, tax not collected, short collected, collected not paid, ITC availed or passed on or distributed irregularly, or the refund claimed fraudulently, whichever is higher. So this thing, the shortcut may name has been given. Whatever is the 10,000 rupees or the tax you have tried to go ahead and evade, tried to go ahead, or tax you have not deducted, whatever is the tax involved, I have gone ahead and given this the name as the tax involved, whichever is higher. Is the point clear to all? Yes, sir, everyone. Is the point clear? Whenever I go ahead and say this, 10,000 or the tax involved, basically tax involved means whatever is the amount of tax you are trying to steal, or refund you have taken erroneously, or ITC you have taken wrongly, whatever is the tax involved, whichever is higher, they are telling. Okay, sir. Now, good services or both related for fraud. Good services or both. G means good services or both. Sir, supplies without invoice, or he gives incorrect invoice, or sir, he gives false invoice. Whatever, if you go ahead and supply without invoice, then they are going ahead and telling again penalty 10,000 or tax involved, whichever is higher, and this is under CGST Act. IGST Act is always double. Yes, sir. Sir, if goods invoice without supply in violation of the act, basically you are going ahead and issuing bogus invoice. Bogus invoice ka case mein you will be liable for a penalty which is 10,000 or tax involved, whichever is higher. Okay. Sir, supplies, transport, stores, goods which are liable for confiscation. Sir, when are goods liable for confiscation? Section number 130 we will be learning that if you go ahead and don't account for goods on which you are liable to pay tax, it is liable for confiscation. So if you have gone ahead and supplied some goods which are liable for confiscation, if you transport some goods or store goods which are liable for confiscation, then baba, you will be liable for a penalty of 10,000 or tax involved, whichever is higher. Sir, A for gastric ka A, G A for accounts related fraud. You fail to keep or retain books of accounts and documents. You remember, you have to maintain books of accounts for 72 months, but you did not go ahead and retain your books of account, or you produced fake accounts when officer asked you, then in that scenario you will be liable to a penalty which is 10,000 or the amount of tax you are trying to evade, whichever is higher. As for if you are trying to suppress turnover, why are you trying to suppress turnover? So that you don't meet the registration limit only. No, you are a taxable person already. Sir, I am a taxable person, but I am trying to suppress the turnover, low output tax liability. So if you are trying to suppress the turnover, then also you will be liable to a penalty of 10,000. Or by suppressing the turnover, how much tax you are trying to evade, whichever is higher. TDS and TCS related fraud. Sir, fails to deduct or collect less, or fails to pay. Everyone, I'll tell you, I did not deduct. I deducted, but I did not pay. Or I deducted short, or they are going ahead and telling TCS, you failed to collect only, or you collected short, or after collecting you failed to pay. So they are going ahead and telling fail to deduct or collect. Deduct or collect less means short deducted, short collected. This is one line. Fail to deduct or collect. Deducts or collects less means short deducted, short collected. Or after deduction, if you fail to pay, or after collection, if you fail to pay, they are telling 10,000 or the amount of TDS or TCS which is involved, whichever is higher. T for tempers or destroys evidences, documents, if you destroy evidence, if you destroy document, detain or seized or attached goods, if detained or seized or attached goods, if you try to temper them or destroy them, then they are going ahead and telling you will be liable to a penalty 10,000 or the amount of tax involved, whichever is higher. T for gas, gas. T for T3 it is. T for TDS, TCS, T for tempers or destroys, T for transports. If you go ahead and transport without specified document, can you tell me when you are going ahead and transporting the goods, what are the document you should have? Sir, when we are going ahead and transporting the goods, we should have, sir, we should have the transport related document. We should have the tax invoice or the bill of supply or the delivery challan, or sir, plus we should have e-way bill if it is required. Yes, sir, we are clear. So transportation without specified document, then whatever the tax involved, whatever the tax you are trying to evade, or the 10,000 rupees, whichever is higher. Then the next one over here is registration. GAST. G. O for, see everyone, O for officer related fraud. G for goods, services, or both related fraud. Supply without invoice, invoice without supply, all this thing. A for, sir, accounts related fraud. You fail to account for something. Then S for suppress. If you go ahead and suppress the turnover, then also there will be a penalty. T for TTT. T is 3 over here. Sir, T may, sir, what is T? T for TDS, TCS, TDS and TCS. T for tempers or destroys evidences, etc. And T for, again the last one, T for transport. If you are involved in transportation without specified document. R for registration. If you fail to obtain registration or false information is furnished or uses others registration number. Number one, sir, you failed to obtain. You did not take registration only. Secondly, when you took registration, you gave wrong information. You took your friend's car, bank account details and you went ahead and edited it and you have put it. The bank statement which you have put is wrong. False information you have given, or you are going ahead and using your neighbor's GSTN number and you are going ahead and doing business. In that scenario, also you will be liable for a penalty. R for refund. Fraudulently obtained. You gave wrong documents and you took the refund. I for ITC. ITC without actual receipt, either in full or partially in contravention of the act. Baba, you should always receive the goods, only then take the ITC. You took the ITC without going ahead and receiving the goods. Then they are going ahead and telling you will be penalized. ITC without actual receipt, either partially or fully. You should receive the goods in full, only then you should go ahead and take the input tax credit. You took the input tax credit just by taking the invoice. Bogus invoice is there, you took the credit. In this scenario, you will be liable to a penalty. I am an input service distributor. Input service distributor goes ahead and distributes ITC in contravention. I distributed more. Then they are going ahead and telling if you do any contravention of the act or rules and distribute or take ITC, then also you will be liable for a penalty. I for information and document called by an officer. Whatever the information and documents are being called by the officer, you fail to furnish. Officer is telling Ramesh, get me this accounts, get me this document. You fail to furnish, or you went ahead and gave him falsified record. You went ahead and gave him false document. Then he is going ahead and telling we will impose a penalty. C for collect. Collects an amount as tax. In contravention, collects an amount as tax, or in contravention, see, if you go ahead and collect an amount as tax, you should go ahead and pay it to the government. If you have gone ahead and collected an amount in contravention also, sir, I went ahead and collected something with which is not tax only, but I collected as tax, then they are going ahead and telling please go ahead and pay. If not paid to the government greater than 3 months from due date, you will be liable for a penalty which is 10,000 or the tax amount whichever is higher. So these are the 11 offenses which are there. I have gone ahead and put over here. See, remembering is easy provided you go ahead and revise them. Okay, sir. So always remember section number 122, one which I went ahead and taught you. Section number 122, one told there are 21 offenses. If these 21 offenses are done by a taxable person, the penalty will be 10,000 or the amount of tax amount of tax which is involved, whichever is higher. Is my point clear to all? Can we go ahead, everyone? Yes, sir, we are all clear till here. Listen, Baba, there's nothing which I have to go ahead and do really in the chapter other than quickly going ahead and telling you these are the offense, these are the penalty, these are the offense, these are the penalties. Let's go ahead, everyone, over here now. Section number 120 to 1A, I'll teach later. This is something important, so I want to go ahead and put more time. Section number 120 to 2 talks about circumstances for levy of penalty on a registered person. When can penalty be levied on a registered person? A registered person is a person who is registered under the GST law. Registered person supplies goods on which tax is not paid. You have not paid the tax, or short paid the tax, or erroneously refunded. You have taken that erroneous refund, or ITC was wrongly availed or utilized. Then they are going ahead and telling, see Baba, reason can be fraud, misstatement, or suppression of act 10,000 or tax due, whichever is higher. Other than fraud, willful misstatement, suppression, 10,000 or 10% of the tax due, whichever is higher. It means 10,000 or 100% of the tax, whichever is higher in case of fraud. And other than fraud ka case mein 10,000 or 10% of the tax due, whichever is higher. See, Baba, we had gone ahead and learned this penalty under demand and recovery chapter also, but that was a penalty which was levied under section number 73 and 74. 73 and 74 में they had gone ahead and levied penalty, then section number 122 का penalty cannot come. But for an example, you have not gone ahead and paid some tax, or you have short paid some tax, you have taken an erroneous refund, and the officer wants to go ahead and levy a penalty on you, individual. Sir, these are penalties which he can go ahead and levy on you independently. There is no proceedings which are required. Means proceedings are required for levying this penalty. Also, he has to give you a show cause notice, demand, and show cause notice, opportunity being heard, and then demand order. But this is an independent penalty which can be levied by him. He can go ahead and say circumstances for levy on penalty of registered person. Registered person, you have supplied goods on which you have tax not paid. I consider it as a fraud, and he can go ahead and give you a show cause notice, and then opportunity of being heard will be given, and a demand order shall be passed. So reason fraud, then 10,000 or 100% of the tax due, whichever is higher. Other than fraud, willful misstatement or suppression of act, 10,000 or 10% of the tax due, whichever is higher. This is a penalty which in independent penalty proceedings officer can do and levy a penalty. Next, everyone over here, can you tell me, everyone? Can you tell me? Do you guys remember less than 200 rupees you don't need an invoice? Everyone remembers less than 200 rupees you don't need to issue an invoice? Yes, sir. Now listen. One customer came to your shop. He told, sir, give me a keyboard. This keyboard is there. Okay, one keyboard I want, sir. Can you please give a keyboard? You went ahead and gave him a keyboard. Supplies without invoice. You did not give him a invoice only. The keyboard was 250 rupees. My question is 250 rupees. Do you have to give an invoice? You are in a shop. You sold a keyboard for 250 rupees. Do you have to give an invoice? Yes, sir. You have to give an invoice. You know what? You did not give an invoice. And the person who bought the keyboard, no, he will be an officer only. He will immediately, when you don't give the invoice, he will walk out of the shop and then come back in the shop, show you his ID card and tell you, ha 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 ha, I am the officer. You did not go ahead and give me an invoice. Supply without invoice. You did not give an invoice. I want to levy a penalty. He will tell, listen everyone, he will go ahead and tell you immediately. Okay, 10,000 or the tax involved. On the keyboard, the tax involved, CGST was supposedly 50 rupees, SGST was 50 rupees. He will tell 10,000 rupees CGST, 10,000 rupees SGST, or rupees 50, whichever is tax involved, whichever is higher. He will levy a penalty of 10,000 and 10,000, 20,000 rupees on you. Are you guys able to understand this? Yes, sir, we got it. Always remember. But to go ahead and levy this 20,000 rupees also, first he will go ahead and give you a show cause notice. Then he will go ahead and give you an opportunity of being heard. ठीक है? and then he will go ahead and give you a demand order. Always remember, for levying a penalty individually, independent case may also, the proceedings have to be done. He will go ahead and give you a show cause notice, and then opportunity of being heard will be given, and then a demand order shall be passed. Okay, sir, point is clear. So these are also proceedings which can be done against you. Okay, section number 123 talks about circumstances for penalty on any person. The penalty can be up to 25,000 under CGST and up to 25,000 under SGST. IGST may it will be 50,000 rupees. Okay. Now, anyone if he goes ahead and aids or abates offences under section number 122.1, under section number 122.1, then he shall be levied for a penalty. Everyone over here. Now, you are going ahead. Okay, I will tell you one example. You went ahead and supplied without invoice. I went ahead, I am Ram. Ram went ahead and told one customer, for an example, Sham over here. Ram went ahead and told Sham, I will go ahead. Okay, everyone over here. Ram went ahead and told Shyam. Ram went ahead and told Shyam, I will go ahead and sell you the goods. Supply without invoice. Okay, Ram is a taxable person. He will be levied to a penalty of section number 122.1. He went ahead and did not give the invoice. Shyam told, ha 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 ha, give without invoice. I don't have to pay you GST. Ram told yes. He is going ahead and helping Ram in going ahead and doing an offense, and he might not be a registered person. He can be any person because he is helping Ram in going ahead and doing an offense. Helper. Penalty up to penalty is equal to penalty up to 25,000 under CGST and 25,000 under SGST can be levied on him. If anyone is going ahead and aids or abates section number 122.1 ka offenses. Okay, deals in any way with goods he knows or has reason to believe are liable for confiscation. Somebody gave me the goods and told Ramesh, you go ahead and sell these goods. On these goods, tax is not paid. So please, Ramesh, sell these goods. So somebody went ahead and supplied this mobile phone to me. Then he went ahead and told Ramesh, sir, whenever you are selling this mobile phone, no, this mobile phone, please don't go ahead and account for it. I have not shown the sales to you. You also don't go ahead and account for it and keep selling, Ramesh, sir. Don't go ahead and show in your books of account. Deals in any way with goods he knows has reason to believe are liable to be confiscated. Why liable to be confiscated? Because those goods are received in contravention of the act. Means I have not gone ahead and taken the invoice. Those are in contravention of the act. They are liable to be confiscated. Then I will also be liable for a penalty. Okay, receives or is concerned with the supply of or deals with supply of service which he knows, has reason to believe are in contravention of the provision of the act or rules, then he shall be liable to penalty. See, the second one was goods, the third one was relating to service. If I have gone ahead and received a service, I told, okay, sir, no problem, don't give invoice. Sir, if receives or is concerned with supply of or deals with supply of service, he knows or has reason to believe are in contravention of the provision of the act or rules, then also you will be liable for a penalty which is up to 25,000. Do you guys remember inspection, search and seizure? We went ahead and saw that officer can go ahead and call for summon. Yes, officer went ahead and called you. You failed to appear when issued a summon to give the evidence. He told you, Ramesh, come. You did not go. You will be liable for a penalty which is up to 25,000. Any person who does not go for a summon, penalty up to 25,000. Fails to issue invoice or account for invoice in the books of account. Sir, I failed to issue an invoice or account for an invoice. Then they are going ahead and telling any person, see Baba, I am not a registered person, but at least I have to issue a commercial invoice. No, if you are not giving any invoice or you are giving an invoice, you did not go ahead and account for the invoice, then they are going ahead and telling Ramesh, we will be liable to a penalty of up to 25,000. Everyone over here now. I went ahead and taught you section number 122. Section number 122 1 went ahead and told taxable person pay 10,000 or 10,000 or tax which is involved, whichever is higher, this much penalty can be levied for 21 offences which are there. Yes, sir, point is clear. Section number 122 2 and section number 122 3. Section number 122 2 talks about any registered person pay penalty. Sir, if you are a registered person who has gone ahead and done tax not paid, short paid, erroneously refunded, ITC wrongly availed or utilized, and it's a bona fide case or a fraud case. Bona fide case, you'll have to pay 10% or 10,000, whichever is higher. Fraud case, 10,000. That is what is told, no? 10,000 or 100% of the tax due, whichever is higher. This is the penalty which can be levied on fraud. Third is any person up to 25,000 ka penalty can be levied. Yes, sir. Point is clear. Everyone over here now, listen to me very carefully. You know what I went ahead and did? For an example, one person is there. You know, this person is a very brilliant guy. What he went ahead and did, he is a very brilliant guy. You know what he did? He went ahead and his person who was working for him, for an example, his driver who was there, his driver ko he went ahead and told driver ko, this mastermind, he is a mastermind, okay everyone. Mastermind went ahead and told his driver, hey driver, give me your Aadhaar card, give me your bank account. All the details he took from the driver, Bolu. Okay, Bolu was the driver. Driver went ahead and gave all the details. This mastermind, what he went ahead and took, he went ahead and did, he took registration of this person. Registration means he became a taxable person or he became a registered person. Who became a registered person? Driver became a registered person. Now, driver ka name say he went ahead and opened a firm, and from the firm he is supplying bogus invoice. Who is supplying? Actually, the mastermind is doing it, but from the name of his driver. Now, you know what happened when the GST authorities came and saw this is the scenario which is happening. They went ahead and caught the driver and told, hey driver, you have issued 500 crore ka bogus invoice. 500 crore ka bogus invoice. GST loss to the revenue, for an example, 50 crore. Hey driver, you have to pay 50 crore. Driver went ahead and told, sir, I am a driver. I have not gone ahead and done this. You see, in my bank account, 50 rupees is there. You are talking about 50 crore rupees. They went ahead and told, okay, then who did it? Driver went ahead and told, once my owner had asked me in my Aadhaar card, bank account detail, can you, sir, check with my owner? Because in my opinion, he would have done it. GST authorities came to the owner. Owner told, yes, I have done it. Where will you go ahead and penalize me? Everyone see. This penalty is on a taxable person. He told, sir, I am not doing any business. I am not liable for registration only. So I am not a taxable person also. I am not a registered person also. So, sir, section number 122 1, you can't penalize me. Section number 122 2 also you can't penalize me. Why section number 122 2 you can't penalize? Because it is on a registered person. I am not a registered person also. Sir, registration is in the name of driver. I am not registered person. So you can't penalize me over there also. Okay. So section number 121 and section number 122, both may you can't penalize me. Now, officer was thinking what to do. So officer saw 122.3 circumstances for levy of penalty on any person. If you are going ahead and aids or abates, or you are going ahead and aids or abates the offences under section number 121, officer can maximum go ahead and say, mastermind, you are helping this driver and I want to go ahead and levy a penalty of 25,000 rupees on you. Or officer can go ahead and say, section number 125, any person doing a contravention under the act, no separate penalty less than equal to 25,000, means on this person the maximum penalty was 25,000 rupees under CGST and 25,000 rupees under HGST. This person told, okay, take chiller you want, take 25,000, 25,000. I have already gone ahead and passed on credits of 50 crore rupees. I am very happy to pay penalty of 25,000 and 25,000. That's the maximum penalty. 50,000 penalty could be imposed on him. Now, the law went ahead and told to catch this mastermind, law went ahead and imposed one more penalty, which is section number 122 1A. Any person who retains the benefit of a transaction covered under 1, 2, 7 and 9. What is 1, 2, 7 and 9? See, 1, 2, 7 and 9 is blue color. This is in blue. So you have to remember 1, 2, 7 and 9 is talking about the blue underlines. Supplies without invoice or incorrect or false invoice. Invoice without supply in violation of the act or rules. Everyone, I supply, don't give invoice. I give invoice, bogus invoice I am giving. Okay. Or ITC without actual receipt, either in full. I'm taking the credit on the base of bogus invoice. I'm taking the credit. I did not go ahead. I without actual receipt, either in full or partially in contravention of the act. I have not gone ahead and received the goods only. I have taken the ITC. Means I am taking the ITC on the basis of bogus invoice, or I am an ISD. I take or distribute ITC in contravention of the act or rules. Then they are going ahead and telling these four offences: one, two, 3 and 4. They are telling any person who retains the benefit of a transaction. You think about bogus invoice. If I am going ahead and issuing bogus invoice in the name of the driver is not retaining the benefit. I am retaining the benefit, not covered under clause 1 to 7 and 9 under subsection 1. Who is covered under 1, 2, 7 and 9 under subsection 1. Subsection 1, which I just now told you, and at whose instance transaction is covered. Can you tell me whose instance the transaction is covered? Whom are they trying to cover? Bolu or Solu? Whom are they trying to cover over here? Section number 122 1A. Sir, they are trying to cover Solu over here, which is section number 122 1A. The mastermind is being covered over here. See over here, everyone. They are trying to tell, sir, any person who retains the benefit of a transaction covered under 1, 2, 7 and 9 under subsection 1, and at whose instance the transaction was done, okay, he shall be liable to a penalty of tax evaded, ITC availed or passed on. Can you tell me how much penalty will be levied on Solu now? How much penalty can be levied on Solu if the bogus invoice may ITC which has passed on is 50 crore? How much penalty can be levied on Solu? Sir, the amount of ITC which has been passed on, or the amount of tax which is evaded, whichever is, not whichever is higher, whatever is the amount of ITC has passed on. Bogus invoice he issued, 50 crore ka GST passed on, penalty. Tax, so he has to pay 50 crore. Penalty also he has to go ahead and pay 50 crore. Always remember, whatever tax evaded, you have to pay. I am not talking about the tax, I am talking about the penalty, which is 50 crore. You will have to go ahead and pay. It says over here, see, tax evaded or ITC which you have gone ahead and availed. I took ITC on the basis of bogus invoice, 500 crore ka ITC. I have to go ahead and give a penalty of 500 crore. Or the ITC which has been passed on. Is my point clear to all? Quickly give me a heads up. Is section number 122 clear to all? Yes, sir. We are all clear. Let's go ahead. Everyone over here. Section number 122 done. Now, section number 123 is there. There's something called an information return which is to be furnished by a person. Now, information return which is there. Information return is furnished by basically registrar, then banks. All these people are required to furnish information return under GST. Okay, sir. In your returns chapter, in detail has been spoken about information return. Okay, sir. Section number 123, penalty for failure to furnish information return. Now, all these bank, registrar, they have to go ahead and furnish something called an information return. Okay, information return which the department wants to. Okay, department wants my information. So, department what it does? Department tells banks, etc., bank, sub registrar authorities that Ramesh ke liye relating to people, I want details. So, these people have to go ahead and furnish the information to the GSTN. So when they are going ahead and furnishing the detail, that is known as information return. Now, if somebody fails to furnish the information return, rupees 100 per day up to a maximum of 5,000 rupees under CGST Act. Under SGST Act also rupees 100 per day up to a maximum of 5,000 under SGST Act, same amount of penalty is levied. Okay, sir. Failure to furnish statistics. What do you mean by statistics? Information in an organized way. There are some people who have to go ahead and furnish statistics also under GST. Now, if you fail to furnish statistics, then they are going ahead and telling you pay fine up to 10,000 rupees. But generally, a person is not required, but there are some people in GST who has to go ahead and furnish statistics. Okay, statistics ka return is also there where you have to go ahead and furnish your statistics. Statistics is data which is more organized. Now, if you have not gone ahead and furnished, then penalty is up to 20, fine up to 10,000 rupees. And if after paying the fine also you're going ahead and continuing, then they're telling continuing offense ke liye rupees 100 per day, maximum 25,000, and these under CGST, similar amount under SGST is also paying. Everyone payable. Next, the section number 125 is general penalty. General penalty, any contravention if you go ahead and do under an act, and there is no penalty separately provided. For an example, you filed your return late, GST return you filed late. Now, for going ahead and filing the late return, if officer want, he can go ahead and say, any person, you have contravened the provision. Yes, sir, you have not filed the return on time. No penalty is told under section number 122, 123, 124. Anywhere, no penalty is told. But I want to levy a penalty on you. I want to make you straight that you go ahead and start filing your returns on time. You are not going ahead and filing your returns on time, then penalty less than equal to 25,000 under CGST and less than equal to 25,000 under HGST, which is 50,000 under IGST, can be imposed by the officer if he wants to. Next, so I went ahead and taught you section number offenses and penalties. I taught you section number 122. Section number 122 had four parts. One which was on taxable person, 1A which was on the masterminds which were there, 2 which is there is on the registered person, and 3 which is there is on any person. Okay, sir. 123 went ahead and told about information return. Information returns which is there, if information return is not filed by all these banks etc who are required to go ahead and file information return, then the penalty can be imposed, which is over here. How much, everyone? 100 rupees per day up to a maximum of 5,000. 100 rupees per day up to a maximum of 5,000, which is under CGST, similar amount under SGST. 124 went ahead and told about statistics. There are some people who are required to furnish statistics also under GST. If you don't furnish, fine can be up to 10,000 rupees. See over here, everyone, fine up to 10,000. And in case of continuing, you are doing it again, continuous offense, then 100 rupees per day up to a maximum of 25,000. And this is the amount under CGST. Then we have section number 125. Nowhere, nothing is told. Then also one penalty can be levied. And that penalty is how much, sir? That penalty is over here, 25,000 up to 25,000 rupees. Yes, sir, we are clear with this. Next. Now, the next section which we are going to do, everyone over here now, the next section which we are going to do is section number 126. Sir, what is section number 126 talking? Do you guys remember? In demand, we went ahead and learned about general provisions which were there. The same way, section number 126 talks about general discipline relating to penalty. It means whenever an officer wants to levy a penalty, whenever an officer wants to levy a penalty, he should follow these general disciplines which are there. What are the general discipline? No penalty for minor breach, where the minor breach of tax regulation or procedural requirement. Sir, what do you mean by minor breach? A small breach has been done by a person where the tax involved is less than 5,000 rupees. Minor in GST is less than 5,000 rupees. So they have gone ahead and told no penalty for minor breach. If there is a person who has done a minor breach where the tax involved is less than 5,000, and minor breach of what? Tax regulation or procedural requirement, and in particular any omission or mistake in documentation which is easily rectifiable. Sir, what do you mean by easily rectifiable? Easily rectifiable means it is apparent from the record that it's a minor, it's a mistake which is particularly in any omission or mistake in documentation, it is easily rectifiable. Then they are going ahead and telling there shall be no penalty, and made without any fraudulent intention or gross negligence. Always remember, everyone, no penalty will be levied on you. When, sir? For minor breach of tax regulation where the amount involved is less than 5,000, and minor breach of tax regulation or procedural requirement, and in particular any omission or mistake in documentation which is easily rectifiable. If the mistake is easily rectifiable, what do you mean by easily rectifiable? Which is apparent on the face of the record that it's a mistake which is there, and it should be made without any fraudulent intention or gross negligence. Then they are going ahead and telling there shall be no penalty. Okay, sir, done. Next, penalty shall depend on the fact and circumstances of each case and be commensurate with the degree and severity of the breach. Everyone over here now. Penalty shall depend on the fact and circumstances of each case and it shall be commensurate with the degree and severity of the breach. Penalty always is dependent on what? Fact and circumstances of each case. Whenever the officer is going ahead and levying a penalty, he will go ahead and see the fact and circumstances and then levy a penalty. And always it shall be commensurate with the degree and severity of the breach. The penalty shall be unequal. More severe crime you do, more penalty. Less severe crime, less penalty. That's what they are trying to do. Next, that's what they are trying to say. No penalty without opportunity of being heard. Always they will give you an opportunity of being heard. Okay. Sir, always they will pass a speaking order. Speaking order officer must specify the nature of the breach and applicable law and regulation or procedure. Whenever the officer is going ahead and giving you an order that I am giving a penalty order, he should always go ahead and specify the nature of the breach and applicable law. Okay, sir. Voluntary disclosure may be considered as a mitigating factor while quantifying a penalty. I went ahead and told sir by mistake. I've gone ahead and done a mistake. If you go ahead and voluntarily disclose, then he can go ahead and consider that as a fact and go ahead and impose a lesser penalty on you. Next. Provision of this section shall not apply where the penalty specified is either a fixed sum or a fixed percentage. Sir, what do you mean by provision of this section shall not apply where penalty specified is a fixed sum or a fixed percentage? For an example, everyone, it is told that penalty will be 10,000 rupees. Can you go ahead? Can the officer go ahead and say, okay, you pay 7,000, okay, you pay 7,500? No. Wherever it is fixed amount, there can't be any bargain. Whenever it is up to penalty up to 25,000, then you can tell, sir, please don't levy so much. That time, the officer can go ahead and levy might be 10,000, 12,000 rupees. But see over here, everyone, provision of this section shall not apply means officer can't go ahead and reduce the penalty where penalty specified is a fixed sum or expressed as a fixed percentage. They have told 10%. You will take. Officer will say, you have gone ahead and told me yourself, so I levy 7.8%. I will levy 8%. No, this is not possible, everyone. 7.5%, 8%, 9%, all these things you can't do. If it is told 10% directly or it is told 10,000 rupees directly, then there can't be any bargain. But if it is told up to penalty up to that time, the officer can go ahead and consider the fact that you have come ahead and voluntarily disclosed the severity of the crime is less and he can go ahead and impose a less penalty. Quickly tell me everyone, are we clear till section number 126 everyone? Yes sir, we are all clear. Now, the next section which we are going to continue with is section number 129. Everyone over here, section number 129 goes ahead and talks about detention, seizure and release of goods and conveyance in transit. Everyone listen to me very carefully. This person had sent the goods along with a driver. The person, owner of the goods, had sent some goods with the driver. Now, owner had sent the goods, but owner told the driver, hey, take the goods silently and go. There is no e-way bill which I am issuing. E-way bill was not issued. Then they are going ahead and telling any goods which you are trying to transport and in transit we catch without proper document, we will go ahead and seize the goods and the conveyance over there. So they are telling first they will detain the conveyance. Hey, stop. Then they will go ahead and seize the goods and the conveyance. And now if you want to release them, release of goods and conveyance which has been caught by them, you will have to pay a penalty. Everyone over here, listen to me carefully. This was the owner of the goods. He went in and told the driver, hey driver, take the goods silently and go. But unluckily, the officer on the way stopped the truck and he told, driver, show me the invoice. He told, sir, invoice, okay, take. But e-way bill is not generated. Basically, they were trying to steal the tax. Everyone, when e-way bill is not generated, it means you were trying to think, okay, let the goods reach over there. We will tear the invoice and throw. Means you did not have proper document and you were going on the way. And if you're caught, they are telling, first we will detain you, we'll stop you. Then we will check. Documents are not there. We will go ahead and seize the goods. Seize means ownership, not ownership. The possession will be taken over by the government. Now, if you want to release them, release of the goods and in transit, the conveyance and the goods, if you want to release, you will have to go ahead and pay a penalty. Goods and conveyance after detention or seizure shall be released when number one, this owner can come forward, or this owner says, no, I have lot of reputation, I will not come forward. Everyone listen. The truck was stopped on the way. When the truck was stopped on the way, the officer went ahead and told this driver, hey driver, call the owner. Driver told, sir, no owner, I am only the owner. If the owner is telling, I don't want to come forward, means the owner is telling, I have lot of reputation, I don't want to spoil my image, he does not come forward, then the penalty is more. But if the owner comes forward, says, okay sir, I am the owner, it is my mistake, then in that scenario the penalty is less. Always remember, owner comes forward, owner does not come forward. Owner comes forward that I am the owner, then baba, in that scenario the penalty is less. If the owner does not come forward, the penalty is more. Always remember, everyone tell me one thing. I went ahead and sold some goods. I went ahead and put the goods in a truck and I sent the goods. Okay, I sent the goods to Ram. I am Ram. Ram went ahead and sent to Sham. My question over here is, when Ram sends the goods to Sham, supposingly it is 10th of January, will he go ahead and make the payment of the tax of the month of January on 10th of January only? Tell me one thing, everyone. I am sending the goods to Sham today. It is the month of January. Can you tell me January month ka tax? When do you go ahead and pay, everyone? January month ka tax, when do you go ahead and pay? Is my question to you all. Quickly tell me, sir, January month ka tax generally, sir, the tax for the month of January, we will go ahead and pay on 28th February. So my question to you guys is, when we are going ahead and sending the goods, when we are going ahead and sending the goods to the other person, have we paid any tax? No, sir. So 10 January ko, I made an invoice 1 lakh rupees and GST was 18,000 rupees. But I did not go ahead and pay this tax because it will be paid by next month. Now you know what happened. I was trying to do cheating. I did not go ahead and generate e-way bill. I thought once the goods reaches Sham, no, I will tear the invoice and throw. On the way, officer stopped. Officer told, show me the documents. Now he found contravention, e-way bill is not issued. Now, first of all, when he catches you, he'll tell you applicable tax to be paid. Can you tell me what is the applicable tax? Tax, so you have to pay only 18,000. Now, everyone over here, they are going ahead and telling penalty also has to be paid equal to 100% of the tax payable. Can you tell me how much will be the penalty? Penalty will be 100% of the tax payable. Everyone listen to me very carefully. If I tell tax, tax is CGST 9,000, SGST 9,000. Penalty will be 100% of the tax, which is 9,000 under CGST and 9,000 under SGST. It is 100% of the tax which is payable. Is my point clear to all? Quickly tell me, everyone, are you all clear till here? Yes, sir, we all understood. Everyone listen to me very carefully. I was going ahead and sending goods. I went ahead and sent some goods to one person. Okay. Now, for an hypothetical situation, I am telling, when I sent the goods to this person, in the invoice, I went ahead and charged 1 lakh rupees, CGST 6% and SGST 6%. Everyone, I charge 6,000 and 6,000 rupees and I send the goods to this person. You know what? When I send it, I have already paid the tax 6,000 rupees. I paid to the government 6,000 rupees CGST and 6,000 rupees SGST. On the way, the goods are being caught. The officer caught the goods. He went in and saw that there is a contravention. Actually, on the goods, 9% and 9% should have been charged. Can you tell me how much is the tax he is going to recover from me? CGST, SGST, and can you tell me how much is the penalty he is going to recover from me? CGST and SGST. First of all, he is going to ask me whatever is the tax, amount of tax which is there, amount of applicable tax. See, I have already gone ahead and paid 6,000 and 6,000. Will I go ahead and pay again the complete amount of tax, or I'll pay just the differential tax? Tell me everyone, will I go ahead and pay the complete tax, or I'll pay the differential tax only? Sir, you will try to pay only the differential tax because tax you have already paid. Sir, 6,000, 6,000 I have already paid. I'll tell him remaining 3,000 and 3,000 rupees I'll pay, sir, because I was trying to steal 3,000 rupees ka tax. Okay, take tax. Penalty will tell Ramesh, whatever you are trying to steal, same amount of penalty also we want. Are you guys able to understand? See over here, penalty 100% of the tax payable. When I send the goods, already I paid 6,000, 6,000. Can you tell me what is tax payable? 100% of the tax payable means how much will be the penalty amount? Can you guys tell me, everyone? Whatever you are trying to steal. What were you trying to steal, everyone? Sir, I was trying to steal over here 3,000 rupees CGST and 3,000 SGST that has to be payable by me. Yes, sir, we all got it. Is everyone clear with this, everyone? Quickly tell me, are we all clear with this? Yes, sir, we are all clear. Tell me one more thing. I went ahead and sent the goods to one person. I went ahead and issued one invoice, but e-way bill I did not issue. 1 lakh rupees ka invoice, 9,000 rupees CGST, 9%, 9,000 SGST. Tax payable over here is 9,000, 9,000. Paid 0. I did not pay anything as of now. I thought, let me send the goods. On the way, the goods were going. The truck was being intercepted. He went in and told, show me the e-way bill. E-way bill was not there. Can you tell me how much is the tax I have to pay, and can you tell me how much is the penalty I'll have to go ahead and pay? Quickly tell me tax amount and the penalty amount which is payable, everyone. Think, think, think. First of all, whatever was the tax, he will immediately ask you. So 9,000 and 9,000 you have to pay immediately. And penalty 100% of the tax payable. Sir, this complete amount was payable. So penalty 9,000 and 9,000. If in the exam they ask you only penalty, you have to tell this. If in the exam they ask you what is the amount payable, then you have to tell the complete amount, because tax plus penalty both are payable. Is my point clear to all? Quickly give me a heads up. Are we all clear with this point? Yes, everyone. Yes, sir. We are all clear with this point. So the first one is, if the owner comes forward, applicable tax plus penalty 100% of the tax payable. If owner does not come forward, applicable tax plus penalty is equal to 50% of the value of the goods minus any tax amount which has already been paid. Everyone over here now. Owner does not come forward, then if the owner does not come forward, the officer who is there will get angry over here. First of all, he'll tell you, please pay the tax. Then he will go ahead and tell you, please pay the penalty. And the penalty over here is 50% of the value of the goods plus minus the tax amount paid. Everyone over here now. I have sent the goods on the way. The goods are going on the way. And the officer went ahead and caught me. Officer went ahead and told me, show me the e-way bill. I did not have it. I had sent the goods, 1 lakh rupees ka invoice, 9,000 rupees CGST and 9,000 rupees SGST over here. I had made the invoice and I had sent it. But e-way bill I did not generate. Officer went ahead and intercepted. He went ahead and told Ramesh, where is the owner? Who is the owner? The driver told, sir, I don't know the owner. Owner did not come forward. Number one, he will tell, first of all, pay the tax. Because you have not gone ahead and paid the tax, first you pay the tax which is there. And then you have to pay a penalty. Now here, when you pay the tax, you will pay 9,000 CGST, 9,000 SGST. Penalty will be 50% of the value of the goods. Can you tell me how much is 50% of the value of the goods? 50,000 rupees is the 50% of the value of the goods. This is under CGST Act. And similar 50% of the value of the goods is the penalty payable under SGST Act also. 50% of the value of the goods minus the tax amount paid. Sir, here anything is paid, nothing is paid. Tax amount paid is 0 over here, and hence I will go ahead and say 1 lakh rupees will be the penalty which will be payable by this person. Is my point clear to all? They are going in and telling Ramesh, if the owner does not come forward, basically, first of all, tax though we will take only. Tax though we will take only. Plus, we will take 50% of the value of the goods minus if there is any amount which is already paid. Sir, tax paid to the government as of now is zero. So, sir, zero will be deducted from here. Is my point clear to all? Quickly tell me, everyone. Are we all clear with this point? Yes, sir. We are 100% clear till here. Let's go ahead. Everyone over here now, listen to me carefully. Everyone is clear? Yes, sir. We are all clear. Let's go ahead. Everyone over here now, listen to me carefully. Owner comes forward, owner does not come forward. If owner comes forward, owner does not come forward. Whatever it is, first please pay the tax. Okay. Plus, here penalty has to be payable. Here also penalty has to be payable. Here, because the owner comes forward, the penalty is less. They are telling whatever the tax was payable on the goods, whatever was the tax payable on the goods, penalty will be tax which was payable on the goods. See over here, everyone. Whatever is the tax payable on the goods, please go ahead and pay. Okay. Owner does not come forward, please pay the tax. Penalty will be 50% of the value of the goods. Penalty will be 50% of the value of the goods minus tax amount if you have paid anything. Okay? This is under CGST, similar amount under SGST also will be payable. Everyone, remember one thing. Now, listen to me very carefully. I was taking the goods and going on the way. When I was going on the way, the goods were exempted goods, but I did not issue the invoice only or bill of supply because exempted goods bill of supply is there. I did not issue a bill of supply. Officer went ahead and caught on the way and he told Ramesh, where is the bill of supply? I told, sir, I forgot to issue. Gone. They will go ahead and tell you, I will go ahead and charge you tax and then penalty equal to the tax. Ha! I will start laughing on him and I'll tell, sir, tax zero, exempted goods. Penalty equal to the tax payable zero because tax payable is also zero. Then the officers became smart and told over here, if it is exempted goods which you are going ahead and taking on the way, penalty will be 2% of the value of the goods or 25,000 whichever is lower. Penalty tax to nothing. Penalty will be 2% of the value of the goods or 25,000 whichever is lower. And always remember these under CGST, similar amount under SGST also. Sir, what if the goods which I am going ahead and taking on the way are caught and the owner does not come forward? Owner does not come forward. Penalty instead of 2 will become 5% or 25,000 whichever is lower. That's it. Everyone over here now. I'll tell you again. I am telling over here. Remember always, owner comes forward, owner does not come forward. Owner comes forward, applicable tax plus penalty. Owner does not come forward, applicable tax plus penalty 50% of the value of the goods. Minus tax amount paid. Exempted goods, penalty is given 2% or 25,000 whichever is lower. Exempted goods, penalty is 5% of the value of the goods. 2% becomes 5% if the owner does not come forward. Next. If demand is unpaid, if you don't go ahead and pay the demand within 14 days, if you don't pay the demand within 14 days, confiscation proceedings shall be initiated. Means, as of now, possession has been taken. Now, the ownership also will be transferred to the government. They are telling confiscation proceeding will be initiated means period. What do you mean by confiscation proceeding? As of now, ownership is taken. As of now, possession is taken. Now they will start taking over the ownership also of the goods. If demand is unpaid within 14 days, if you don't pay the demand, confiscation proceedings shall be initiated. Means they will issue a show cause notice. You have not paid the demand. We will go ahead and now take over the goods. The ownership will be also taken over by the goods. They will go ahead and issue a show cause notice. Basically, confiscation proceedings will start. Period will be less than 14 days if the goods are perishable, hazardous or likely to depreciate with time. Perishable goods का case में mangoes, will they wait for 14 days? No, they will go ahead and start the confiscation proceeding. Immediately they will start the confiscation proceeding. Next, there is a circular. if invoice or documents are accompanying the goods. For example, the officer went ahead and intercepted one truck. Now, on the way, when he intercepts the truck, who is the owner of the goods? Is the supplier the owner or the recipient the owner? The officer will go ahead and decide. Everyone, then either consignor or consignee will be the deemed as the owner. For an example, I have sold already the goods. It was your responsibility to collect the goods and go. Who is the owner of the goods? If the goods are caught on the way, the recipient. It was my responsibility to send the goods to your premises. Who is the owner? It was my responsibility. Then I am the owner of the goods. That will be assumed. Everyone, then either the consignor or the consignee will be deemed as the owner. If invoice or documents are not there, then proper officer will go ahead and decide. So if the truck is caught on the way and the invoice is there, then Baba, if based on the invoice, the consignor or the consignee, whoever is the owner, will be decided. If the invoice is not there, then basically the PO will go ahead and decide. The officer who has gone ahead and caught, he will go ahead and decide who is the owner. Okay, sir, done. Now, section number 129 went ahead and told about detention and seizure. Section number 129 went ahead and told about detention and seizure. Section number 130 talks about confiscation, when your goods will be confiscated. Confiscated means the ownership will be taken over by the government. Everyone over here now. Confiscation of goods, conveyance and levy of penalty. What are the cases when your goods can be confiscated? Always remember there are 5 circumstances when your goods can be confiscated. In the exam, they can go ahead and ask you, what are the cases when confiscation can be done? Number 1, supplies or receives goods in contravention of the act. I am going ahead and supplying the goods or receiving the goods in contravention of the act. For an example, I am supplying or receiving the goods without issuing an invoice. I am doing a contravention. My goods can be confiscated. Next, I went ahead and bought the goods without invoice. Again, I am doing a contravention, because you should buy on the basis of valid document. Then your goods can be confiscated. Means confiscation means ownership will be taken over by the government. Next, section number 30 says, 130 says, does not account for goods which is liable to pay tax. I did not go ahead and do the accounting of the goods only. Officer came to my premises, Ramesh, are these goods accounted? No, unaccounted goods can be confiscated by the government. So always account for your goods. Supplies any goods liable to tax without registration. I did not go ahead and take registration and I am supplying the goods. If those goods are there, those goods are liable for confiscation. I am going ahead and supplying goods without registration. If I don't take registration and I am supplying goods, my goods will be liable for confiscation. Contravenes any provision of the act or rules to evade tax, then also goods can be confiscated. If you have gone ahead and done any contravention of the act or rules to evade tax. Last one, if you use any conveyance to transport goods in contravention, then that conveyance also can be confiscated. Everyone always remember, in the exam they will go ahead and ask you, what are the cases when confiscation can be done of goods and conveyance? Number 1, I am now teaching you. See everyone, I am not teaching you penalty. Penalty is this side. Levy of penalty is that side. I am teaching you when your goods and conveyance can be confiscated. Confiscated means ownership will be taken over by the government. When? Number 1, you supply or receive goods in contravention. Number 2, you don't account for the goods. Supplies any goods without taking registration. Contravention, you have gone ahead and done of the provision of act or rules, or you are using a conveyance to transport goods in contravention, means you are going ahead and transporting goods by using a truck, and those goods where GST is not paid, or you are going ahead and transporting goods in the case where e-way bill is not issued, then your conveyance also will be confiscated. Okay, done, sir. Can you tell me, in confiscation, what are the 2 things which can be confiscated? Confiscation may, there are 2 things over here. Number 1, goods can be confiscated. Number 2, conveyance also can be confiscated. Now they have gone ahead and told, to release the goods, how much the penalty has to be paid. To release the conveyance, how much the penalty has to be paid. That is being told by section number 130. Everyone over here now, listen to me very carefully. It says, all the goods and conveyance which are liable for confiscation. In all this scenario, what will happen? The goods and the conveyance will be liable for confiscation. Sir, what about the person who is the thief over here? This owner, what will happen? Owner pay penalty will be imposed under section number 122. Goods, Baba, owner can't be confiscated. Government is telling your ownership, I will take over. Lifetime you work for me. Now, is it possible? No. So they are telling over here, goods and conveyance will be liable for confiscation. The person owner, he has to pay a penalty under section number 122. Okay, sir. It means to release the goods and the conveyance, you will have to pay a fine in lieu of confiscation. Everyone, listen to me very carefully. Because your goods and conveyance are going to be taken over by the government, you have to tell, sir, I will pay redemption fine. Please release my goods and my conveyance. Everyone, over here now. Sir, all the goods and the conveyance, if you want to be released, if you want to release your goods and the conveyance, you have to pay something called a redemption fine. This is called as a redemption fine. For the release of the goods, you will have to pay a fine as the proper officer thinks fit. Whatever the proper officer tells you, you will have to pay. And maximum fine which the proper officer can ask is market price. He is telling, sir, we are going to take over the ownership of the goods. Now the goods will belong to the government. The market price of the goods, he will tell Ramesh, you want the goods? I told, yes, sir, please don't take over. He will tell Ramesh, the market price of the goods is 1 crore rupees minus GST on the goods is 18 lakh rupees. You do one thing, you pay us 82 lakh rupees, will release the goods. They are telling over here, market price less the GST. If you go ahead and pay, they will release your goods. Sir, what about the conveyance? Here they did not take GST, no? Just pay the GST. GST, if you pay, they will release your conveyance also. See everyone over here. For the goods, what is the amount I have to pay? For the goods, you have to pay market value less GST, which is payable on those goods. Sir, for the conveyance, what to pay? This GST, this guy did not pay, no? So 18 lakh, this guy will pay. Are we clear with this point, everyone? The market price minus GST to be paid for the goods and GST, which the truck ke through you are trying to steal, that GST has to be paid. Okay, sir, for release of the truck, 18 lakh rupees, whatever is the GST on the goods which you are trying to transport through the truck, that GST has to be paid. Everyone over here. Now, minimum fine plus penalty, whatever the fine is imposed on you under section number 130 plus the penalty which is imposed on a person should be greater than equal to section number 129 wala penalty. Means whatever I told you in section number 129, owner comes forward, owner does not come forward, whatever penalty I taught you, at least everyone over here, minimum fine is for basically the goods and the conveyance, and the penalty which is imposed on the person should be more than section number 129 may whatever penalty is being told. Always remember this. Okay, sir. Confiscation order of goods or conveyance or penalty shall be issued after giving opportunity of being heard. Simple natural justice, you have to give opportunity of being heard, only then you have to issue a confiscation order that we are going ahead and taking over the goods, and we are going ahead and taking over the conveyance, and we are going ahead and giving you a penalty. Always, for everything, opportunity of being heard has to be given. Note, confiscated goods or conveyance to be disposed of after giving you 3 months. They will give you 3 months ka time. If you pay the fine, very good. Otherwise, they will go ahead and sell off your goods. Always remember this. If you don't go ahead and pay the fine within how much time, sir? Within 3 months, then they will go ahead and sell off the goods and the conveyance after 3 months. Okay, sir. Point is clear. I went ahead and taught you section number offenses and penalties. First, I taught you section number 122. Yes, sir. Various offenses were there. 123, sir. Information return. Section number 124, statistics related. Sir, 125, general provision. 126, general discipline relating to determination of penalty. 127, I have not taught you. You can read it from your book. 128, again total bakwas. All these are what total bakwas. 129 is relating to seizure of goods in transit. Basically, detention, seizure, and if you want to release the goods, you will have to go ahead and pay a penalty. Here, there are two scenarios. Owner comes forward, owner does not come forward. Owner comes forward, then whatever is the tax payable, you have to go ahead and pay same amount as penalty. Owner does not come forward, 50% of the value of the goods minus the tax amount paid. ठीक है sir. 130 came over here. 130 told there are five scenarios when your goods can be confiscated, and that goods which are confiscated or the conveyance which is confiscated, if you want the goods and the conveyance, goods ke liye you have to pay the market price of the goods minus GST, and conveyance ke liye you have to pay the GST amount. Okay sir, point is clear. Can we go ahead everyone? Yes, sir. We are all clear till here, till section number 130. Yes, till section number 130, we are all clear. Let's go ahead. Everyone over here now. Section number 131, please read from your book. Not very important. I want to go to section number 132. Everyone, listen to me very carefully. Till now, we were talking about fine, we were talking about penalty. Now, they are going ahead and talking about imprisonment, punishment. They will send you to jail for certain offenses. What are the offenses for which you can go to jail? Now, this is where I've gone ahead and told it over here. Number one, it says, whoever, section number 132, 1 says, whoever commits or causes to commit or the mastermind, whoever retains the benefit arising out of any of the following. Number one, supplies without invoice with an intention to evade tax. Okay, if you are supplying without invoice, or evades number one. Number two, issues invoice without supply in violation. Bogus invoice you are giving. Bogus invoice. Number one, supply without invoice. Number two, invoice without supply. Number three, you have taken the avail the ITC on the basis of such invoice. I have taken the ITC on the basis of bogus invoice, or without invoice only. Fraudulently, I have gone ahead and taken the ITC without invoice or bill, or I have collected an amount but failed to pay to the government greater than 3 months from the due date. Always remember, or I have evaded tax or fraudulently obtained refund plus offense is not covered in A to D. I have evaded tax or fraudulently obtained a refund plus the offense is not covered in A to D, then it is covered in E. Fails or substitutes or falsifies record, produces fake accounts, documents, furnishes false information to evade tax, obstructs or prevents officer from discharging his duty, acquires possession. I have gone ahead and acquired the possession of or concerned himself with TTRCKPDDS with goods liable for confiscation. What, sir? What do you mean by acquiring possession of or concerned himself with transportation? Sir, T transportation. See over here, everyone. 132 may I'll show you. Section number 132. T. What is T, everyone? T for transportation. R for if you are concerned in removing. D for depositing, keeping, concealing, supplying, purchasing, any manner whatsoever if you deal with the goods basically. If you are going ahead and doing what? Transportation, removal. Sir, then C for concealing, supplying, purchasing, depositing, all have been covered over here with the goods which are liable for confiscation. Next, receives or concerned with supply of or deals with goods he knows or has reason to believe are in contravention. If you are receiving any goods or you are concerned with supply of goods which you know are in contravention, means tax unpaid goods, tampers with or destroys material evidence or document. If you go ahead and destroy or temper material evidences, fail to supply any information required under this act or rules, or fails to supply false information. Actually, what I am teaching you over here, most of them are picked up from here. Along with the penalty, they are telling we will send you to jail also. So over here, attempts to commit or abates the commissioning of an offense under A to K, means if you are going ahead and committing or you are going ahead and helping the commission of offense, means you are going ahead and helping someone in going ahead and doing the offense from A to K, then they are going ahead and telling you will also be sent to jail. But sir, tell me one thing, supply without invoice, 1 rupee ka invoice I did not give, I'll be sent to jail. 500 rupees ka invoice I did not give, I'll be sent to jail. No baba, always remember, you have to go ahead and see. Number one, the offense should be 132 1 A to L का offense. A to L का offense plus offense plus the amount involved has to be seen. If the amount involved is great greater than 5 crore, punishment will be up to 5 years. Plus, fine also has to be given. Fine, sir? Arey Baba, fine. Penalty also has to be given. Penalty though will be given only, but you will go to jail also up to 5 years. Minimum jail is 6 months, but maximum is up to 5 years. Sir, if the amount involved is greater than 2 crore, up to 5 crore, always remember 3 years jail, up to 3 years jail, plus penalty under section number 122. So, penalty though you have to give only. Jail also you will go. Minimum 6 months ka jail will be there. Amount is greater than 1 crore, up to 2 crore, sir, up to 1 year you will go in jail, plus fine, minimum 6 months jail. Always remember, can you tell me everyone, what is the minimum amount for which you will be sent to jail? What is the minimum amount of offense that has to be done? Only then you can be sent to jail. Sir, 1 crore rupees. Everyone over here, 1 crore. If you have not gone ahead and done 1 crore taka offense, then you can't be sent to jail. 1 crore is the amount. See over here, everyone. Greater than 1 crore up to 2 crore. Minimum 6 months up to 1 year plus penalty also. Greater than 2 crore up to 3 year plus fine. Minimum 6 months. Greater than 5 crore up to 5 year plus fine. Minimum is 6 months ka jail. Always remember 6 months so you will go to jail. Okay, sir, done. Now, everyone over here, F, G, J, they are going ahead and telling commits or abates the commissioning of F, G, J, then up to 6 months or fine or both. What do you mean by F, G, J, sir? Everyone over here. If you falsify or substitute financial record, or you produce fake accounts or documents, or you furnish false information to evade tax, then Baba, in this scenario they will go ahead and send you up to 6 months jail. There is no amount and all. Falsified record, produce fake accounts, or you go ahead and produce fake documents, or you furnish false information, all this you do to evade tax, then they are telling you we will send you minimum 6 months jail, or we will go ahead and impose fine, or both. Next, you go ahead and obstruct or prevent any officer from going ahead and discharging duty. Officer came to a premise, he told, please let me in. You went ahead and told, officer, go away. You have sent your security guard and shoot him away, saying, hey, you go home. You did not allow the officer to come inside. You obstructed an officer or prevented an officer from discharging his duty. In that scenario also, there will be a penalty or jail up to 6 months or fine or both. Both can also be imposed. Or J, tampers with or destroys material evidence or document, then also you will go to jail up to 6 months or fine or both. Are we clear, everyone? Quickly tell me. I went ahead and told you section number 132. Section number 132 went ahead and told about offences and penalties. May section number 132 has 132.1 talks about A to K, J, K, L. L offences. Okay, everyone. Now they are going ahead and telling if all these offences amount is greater than 1 crore, greater than one is greater than 1 crore up to 2 crore, greater than 2 crore up to 5 crore, and one is greater than 5 crore. Here, how many months jail, everyone? Can you tell me how many months jail? Number 1. Sir, up number 1, it is 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. Remember always 1, 3, 5. Okay? Minimum is how much? Minimum is 6 months. Minimum is 6 months. Minimum is 6 months. Plus fine, so you have to pay only. Minimum is 6 months and fine you have to pay. Fine will be there. See, plus. Sir, if you go ahead and do the offense under FGJ, then always they have gone ahead and told up to 6 months or fine or both. Now listen to me very carefully. If you go ahead and do all these offenses, any of the offenses which are told under section number 132, if you go ahead and do, subsequently, repeatedly. Sir, you were earlier caught. Earlier, you were penalized and sent to jail. Now, again, you are doing it. They are telling repeated offenders, subsequent offense, any amount you do, you will be sent to jail up to 5 years plus fine. Always remember this. And minimum jail, anyways, is 6 months. Everyone over here now, listen to me very carefully. Please come to section number 132. I would like to go ahead and read section number 132 from the textbook. Section number 132, various offenses which are there. 1, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. I've already told you. And the amount involved over here is 1 crore greater than exceeding 1 crore up to 2 crore, exceeding 2 crore, exceeding 5 crore. Okay? 1 year and fine, 3 years and fine, and 5 years and fine. FGJ वाला offenses के लिए up to 6 months or fine or both. Are we clear? Yes, sir. Point is clear. Always remember one thing. Where any person convicted on offense under this section is convicted again, means you have once done an offense, you were convicted, sent to jail, again you did it, then again convicted of an offense under this section, then they are telling, sir, you are useless now. Once you have sent to jail, but still you have not got your brain now. You have not got your brain back. We will send you again. If 1 rupee ka offense if you do, then also they are going ahead and telling no limit now. Then he shall be punishable for every subsequent and second offense with imprisonment for a term which may extend up to 5 years with fine. 5 years plus fine ka imprisonment can be given. But always remember, the imprisonment referred to in clause 1, 2, 3 of subsection and subsection 2. 1, 2, 3 and subsection 2. In absence of adequate reason to the contrary, for a minimum term of not less than 6 months, means minimum jail is 6 months unless there is some adequate and special reason. Always remember this. Also, you can go ahead and write over here in the chart that this is also minimum 6 months jail. Minimum 6 months jail. Sir, always remember jail to minimum 6 months is there. Unless there is some adequate reason. Now, everyone listen to me very carefully. This is something I want to go ahead and talk about. Sir, what is this, everyone? Everyone over here. All the offenses, everyone, which are told in section number 132. Can you tell me section number 132 has how many offenses? Section number 132 has 12 offenses which are there. Section number 132, 1 may, whenever you go ahead and see everyone, the offenses specified in clause A, B, C, D of section number 132 which are punishable under clause 1, means if you are falling under section number 132 1, A, B, C, D, which is basically A means supply without invoice, invoice without supply, fraudulently avails the ITC, amount collected as tax but not paid to the government. Everyone, I would like to go ahead and show you A, B, C, D. See everyone, supplies without invoice, invoice without supply, avails ITC on the basis of invoice, or fraudulently avails ITC without invoice or bill, or collects an amount as tax but fails to pay to the government greater than 3 months, then they are telling A, B, C, D, and plus the amount is greater than, amount of tax involved is greater than 5 crores. See over here everyone, I would like to go ahead and show it from the textbook. It says, sir, where the offense is A, B, C, D of subsection 1, basically section number 131 and punishable under clause 1. What do you mean by punishable under clause 1? The amount exceeds 5 crore rupees, means where you are going to jail for 5 years, they shall always be, of that subsection shall always be cognizable and non-bailable. Do you guys remember cognizable and non-bailable? They are severe offenses. They are cognizable and non-bailable. A, B, C, D. Supply without invoice, invoice without supply, ITC on the basis of bogus invoice, or fraudulently if you take ITC, or amount collected as tax but not paid to the government greater than 3 months from due date. In this 4 scenario, if the amount is greater than 5 crore rupees, always remember it's a cognizable and non-bailable. All other offenses All other offenses might be A plus B plus C plus D, any offense, A, B, C, D, wala offenses, plus, okay, I will say A or B or C or D offense, plus amount is less than 5 crore rupees, less than equal to 5 crore rupees, or any other offense. Always remember, these are all non-severe offenses. Cognizable, non-cognizable, and bailable. I hope you guys remember what do you mean by cognizable. Cognizable means which are severe offense. Baba, severe offense के लिए arrest warrant is not required and you will be presented before the magistrate who will decide whether to give you bail or send you to jail. But if it is non-cognizable offense, then you will be arrested on the basis of an arrest warrant, and then the assistant commissioner or the deputy commissioner will go ahead and give you an option to pay the bail and you will be released. I hope you guys remember I had already gone ahead and told you about cognizable and non-cognizable. See everyone, notwithstanding anything under the Code of Criminal Procedure, all offences under this act except the offences which are told under 5 are non-cognizable and bailable. I would like to tell once again, section number 132 1, section number 132 132 1 में A, B, C, D offense are there. Okay, plus the amount of the offense is greater than 5 crore. It means you will be sent to jail for 5 years, up to 5 years. Then they are telling these offenses are cognizable and non-bailable. It means you will be presented before the magistrate who will decide whether to give you bail or jail. Okay, sir. All other offenses, non-cognizable and bailable. Is my point clear to all? Quickly give me a heads up. Are we all 100% clear till here? Yes, sir, we are all clear. It's a little theoretical chapter, everyone, but you have to learn. You don't have a choice. Yes, sir. Let's go ahead. Next. Section number 133 talks about liabilities of officers and certain other person. They are going ahead and telling, tell me one thing. I am filing my return. GST ka officers who are there, they have information about my returns, etc. They should not go ahead and disclose my information to anyone. Everyone, listen to me very carefully. We are filing our returns. The returns go to the GSTN. They are going ahead and telling none of the officers should go ahead and disclose all this information. See over here, 130, 137. Not 137, it is 133. Where any person engaged in connection with the collection of statistics, compilation or computerization thereof, or any officer of the central tax having information specified under section number 150, they have information relating to a person. Information return is furnished under section number 150. If any person is engaged with the provisioning of service on the common portal or an agent of the common portal will fully discloses any information or content of a return or under this act, otherwise then in execution of the duty for the purpose of the prosecution of an offense and under this act or under the act for the time being in force, he shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend up to 6 months or with fine which may extend up to 25,000 or with both. Everyone listen to me very carefully. Tell me one thing. I am GST officer. I have information relating to Jason, how much is his turnover, whatever is his, what is he doing, all those informations are furnished. Now, if the GST officer goes ahead and discloses this information, which is your business private information, your confidential information to anyone, then what about the officer? They are telling we will penalize the officers also. Liability of officers and certain other person, basically whoever is going ahead and compiling all the GST return ka information, whoever is going ahead and receiving all this GST ka information, all this common portal ka officer, your GST officer, if they willfully disclose any information or content of a return, they will also be sent to jail up to 6 months or fine up to 25,000 or both. This much if you remember, more than enough. Anyone, any basically all these officers, etc., if they go ahead and disclose your information to anyone, they will also be penalized with fine up to 25,000, jail up to 6 months, or both. Okay, sir. Basically, who are the people? Who are persons engaged in collection of statistics, compilation, computerization, or they are having access to information returns, or they are engaged or agent of the common portal. If they are engaged with compilation of information, or they are the agent of the common portal, all these people, whatever information return or whatever returns are being furnished by a person, they should not go ahead and disclose to anyone. If they disclose, they will be penalized. Okay, sir, under section number 133. 133. It means the penalty is not only on us, the penalty is also on the officers if they go ahead and misuse the information. Got it, sir? Let's go ahead. The next one over here is section number 138. Everyone listen to me very carefully. You will be sent to jail. Would you like to go to jail, everyone? My question to everyone. Would you like to go to jail? Hey, Venkat, sir, would you like to go to jail? No, sir, I would never like to go to jail. Who likes to go to jail? Sir, I have money. I will give money and I will not have to go to jail. So, Baba, if you have money, honey, you can go home. That is what is told by section number 138 over here. 1 minute, people. Section number 138 talks about compounding of offense. If you have money, Baba, you can go home. They are telling you can go ahead and pay a fine and you don't have to go to jail. Sir, if you are a person who has money, then you don't have to go to jail. So there is a fine which you can pay and you don't have to go to jail also. Huh, sir? Yes, Baba. Money, then everything is possible. Okay? Not everything, but many things in GST also is possible. See, it says over here compounding. Compounding means you can go ahead and pay and you don't have to go to jail. What is the minimum amount? Minimum amount is higher of 10,000 or 50% of the tax involved. Okay, sir, this is the minimum amount which the officer will go ahead and ask you. Can the officer go ahead and ask more? Yes, sir. The maximum is also given. Everyone, compounding के लिए, compounding means, see Baba, for offense penalty is there. Not to go to jail. Penalty to have to be paid. Now you are telling, sir, don't send to jail. Not to go to jail, you have to go ahead and pay fine in lieu of not going to jail. That is known as compounding fine. So that we don't send you to jail. Minimum and maximum is there. Minimum is 10,000 or 50% of the tax, whichever is higher. Maximum is, sir, into 3 you have to do. Into 3. Sir, 10,000 into 3, 30,000. 50% into 3, 150% of the tax involved, whichever is higher. Officer can go ahead and ask you anything but not lower than this and anything not higher than this. Always remember, if you don't want to go to jail and you have done an offense, it is under section number 132 also an offense, and you are about to go to jail. Run, Baba, go to the commissioner and tell him, sir, I will pay the fine. Don't send me to jail because my reputation will go. Officer will go ahead and tell you the minimum amount of fine is whatever is there and the maximum amount of fine. He will tell you a range, not a range. He will tell you a fine. The fine can't be less than this. The fine can't be more than that. He will tell you an amount. You pay the amount and you don't have to go to jail. Next, everyone over here. Next, sir, when can compounding not be done? There are some scenarios when your money also will not help you. What is the scenario when compounding cannot be done? In your exam, they can go ahead and ask you a question. What are the cases when no compounding can be done? No compounding, if already allowed to compound with respect to offense specified in 132(1) A to F and aids or abates A to F. Everyone listen to me very carefully. A, B, C, D, E, F. If you have gone ahead, A to F offenses you are done and you are already allowed compounding once, second time compounding will not happen, get lost. One time compounding done, second time compounding not done, A to F का offense के लिए. They are telling section number 132(1) A to F का offense if you are done or you are gone and helped someone in A to F का offense and you were given compounding already once, second time compounding will not be given to you. No, already compounded, then second time compounding will not be given. Next, any offenses other than A above. Any offenses other than A. In respect of supplies of value greater than 1 crore if already compounded earlier, second time compounding will not be done. Other than A to F wala offense, other than A wala offense, basically, they are going ahead and telling if the amount is greater than 1 crore and you were already done compounding earlier, second time compounding will not be done. But sir, if the amount is less than 1 crore, then Baba, compounding will be done again, no problem at all. Next, accused of committing an offense under this act, which is also an offense under any other law, then they are telling GST law, if you have done an offense, that is also an offense under any other law, then they are going ahead and telling we will not give you compounding, we will give you compounding in GST, but other law will send you to jail. So they are going ahead and telling if you have gone ahead and done an offense, which is also an offense under any other law, then there will be no compounding. Next, person is convicted. Court already told you, hey, Ramesh should go to jail. Now, after the court has already told Ramesh should go to jail, you are telling, ha, court, I will take compounding, I will pay money. Not possible. If you are already convicted by the court, compounding is not possible. Also remember, person accused in 132 GJK. What is GJK? Everyone over here. If you obstruct an officer, J means tempers or destroys evidences and fails to supply information which is required under the act or supplies false information, then they are telling no GJK. Yes, no one can help you. Compounding will not be there. We will send you to jail if you do F 132 GJK ka offenses. Okay, sir, done. Here we are done with your chapter of offenses and penalties, everyone. Listen to me very carefully. In my opinion, section number 125 you should remember. Section number 125 you should remember. 126 which is there is also very important. They can ask you question. 129 and 130 is their favorite area where they go ahead and ask question. 132 and 138 also they can go ahead and ask you a question. Other than that, I've gone ahead and tried my best to go ahead and simplify everything in the chart. Remaining sections you will be reading from your textbook. Please solve question answers because they are very important, everyone. I would like to go ahead and close my chapter of offenses and penalties over here, everyone.